Biden got the call, and it was Obama, Pelosi, former Speaker of the House, Chuck Schumer, Majority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, current House Minority Leader of the Democrats in the House, and they said, we got Kamala on board to invoke the 25th. If you don't drop the nomination, you know that's going to happen. The thing is, you were saying they're not invoking the 25th. He's still president.
Right, but I'm saying if there was a time that they were going to do that, this would be that time.
Joe Rogan is starting to take a massive interest in this upcoming election because it is really starting to get interesting. And Joe Rogan even said multiple times, I've heard him say it, I think he even tweeted it out, that he believes that Kamala Harris is actually going to win this next election. He said that on his podcast. That's not him saying that he wants Kamala Harris to win. You have to be an idiot to think that Kamala Harris is the best candidate to win here, especially not just for the state of the country currently, but the state of the world. I think Kamala Harris would be absolutely awful for, not, like I said, just the country, but the entire globe. And I think Joe Rogan recognizes that. And he's trying to wake people up to the fact that Kamala Harris could actually win this thing. That is a possibility. So we need to take this threat seriously. But in this video, Joe Rogan talks about multiple reasons why Kamala Harris is a horrible candidate. He even brings up whenever she got destroyed by Tulsi Gabbard, which was, you know, a great takedown by Tulsi Gabbard. And at the time, it looked like Tulsi Gabbard had ruined Kamala Harris's whole political career. Let's get into this Joe Rogan clip here from the Joe Rogan Experience of Joe and Michael Malice talking about why Kamala Harris is just a absolutely horrible candidate, and he just absolutely destroys her entire political career. Let's check this out.
So this is like when you go to visit the Coliseum and you're like, what happened to these people? This is us. This is us. It's just we're very fortunate to be in the middle of it and watching it all play out.
There's that meme of Jesus.
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey smoking
Send in the asteroid.
Goes, no, he goes flooded again.
Oh, that's funny. I saw it send in the asteroid. I saw it the other day. I guess there's a bunch of those. Like, what the fuck, man?
When you're dealing. The thing is, the gaslighting is what bothers me.
Well, it all bothers me. It all bothers me, the fragility of the human mind. You know, that so everybody forever was like, Kamala Harris is the worst vice president. She's the least popular vice president of all time. And then in a moment in time, all of a sudden she's our solution. She's our hero. Everybody's with her.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
All these social media posts about her. Try Googling a negative story on her. You won't find one.
So,
ta-da!
Okay, you've got me started, Officer Harris. So, they've been doing this live for years. So, in 2019, our pal Tulsi absolutely nuked her in that second debate. And if you looked at charts at the time, she's kind of, Officer Harris is like doing okay. First debate, she comes out, Joe Biden, you're a racist. The Democrats were looking for an alternative to Bernie Sanders that wasn't Biden. She starts going up in the polls, right? Second debate comes out, Tulsi, being a good Hawaiian, knows how to roast the pig, just completely slams her. Not only that, she has no counterpunch. She goes on Anderson Cooper and she's like, well, I'm a top tier candidate, so of course people are going to take shots at me. That's her answer. She immediately starts going down in the polls. It's that day. You can see it on the chart I have on my Twitter. All the articles at the time that did an autopsy on Kamala Harris's failed campaign didn't mention Tulsi once.
Yeah.
It was BBC, LA Times, Reuters, New Yorker. A guy from the Washington Post just did a piece.
Well, it's very obvious to me, and I think very obvious to most people out there. This is a very astroturfed campaign for Kamala Harris. Like, they're very obviously, there was like Joe Rogan just said, it was the same thing in the last election. Like, people forget, but during the last election, whenever they were trying to figure out who the Democratic nominee was going to be, it was like one day they decided, whoever they might be, decided Joe Biden was the candidate. And it was like somebody made a call to everybody, and everybody at the same time dropped out of the race and endorsed Joe Biden. And anybody who didn't drop out and endorse Joe Biden were to be shunned. And like, it was like everybody was terrified to not endorse Biden and make sure that everybody knows that that Biden has their undying support. That's a Democrat. Everybody at the same time all dropped out and all said, we support Joe Biden. It's the same thing. It was like, obviously, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious to me, Joe Biden didn't make the decision to drop out of this race. He didn't want to drop out. Somebody else made the call. Somebody else said, hey, Joe, you're not fit for this. We're going to go ahead and go with Kamala as our candidate. And as soon as that happened, everybody just fell in line. You know, Gavin Newsom, everybody was saying that he might be a potential candidate. He's just like, no, I support Joe Biden and I fully support Kamala Harris if she's the, you know, if Joe Biden drops out. Joe Biden did drop out. We never heard a peep from Gavin Newsom about running. All these other people who were saying they're possible candidates, none of them even tried. Everybody was just like, yes, Lord Kamala Harris, we bow down to you. And the media did the same. It's very astroturfed, and I'm hoping, because there does seem to be, although the momentum started artificially, people are sheep. They see that there's momentum behind the Kamala Harris campaign, and although it is astroturf, there is this fake momentum, and people are sheep, so they fall in line. They see the polls going, even though they might be faked or fabricated. They see the polls going in Kamala Harris's favor, so they say, "Oh, there's probably a reason for that. Let me also fall in line." You know. So I'm hoping that this is just like a very front-loaded, astroturfed campaign, and that whenever, you know, as time goes on, as we get closer to the election, it loses steam a little bit. But as of right now, like I said, people are sheep, and you can say, yes, it is faked. It obviously is faked and fabricated, but people fall in line whenever they see momentum like this. So I'm just hoping it doesn't go as far as to actually beat Donald Trump, because I think Joe Rogan even thinks that is a possibility.
Looking back on her campaign, didn't mention Tulsi either.
Wild?
They completely pretend it didn't happen.
Well, it just shows you that what they're looking for is not what they say they're looking for.
Yes.
Because she is a strong woman. She is a person who served overseas twice. She in a medical unit, so she got to see people blown up by the war. She is...
But she's not a black woman, though, so it doesn't really matter. Doesn't count. Kamala Harris wins by default. She wins off technicality because she's brown. I know that she's Indian or whatever. She's not actually black, or she's I don't know. She's Jamaican. She's not African American. Who cares? Like, I just don't give you a singular crap about any of that stuff. But the reality is, Kamala Harris wins off technicality because she's brown. She's not white. You know, Tulsi Gabbard, I don't know if she's actually white. She looks like she could have something else, but she's more white than Kamala Harris, so she loses. It doesn't matter. Policy doesn't matter. Logic, reason, rationale, none of that matters. Just identity politics. That's it. That's all that matters.
She was a congresswoman for 8 years.
Yeah.
She is a person of color. She's everything you want. All those things you want.
But
and yet you don't want her.
Because she's not for war.
Yes. Well, she's also just not willing to play ball. There's a game that's being played. And if you're like, hey, you're not supposed to fucking move the ball. Like, oh, look at this bitch over here. Like, get out of here. You're going to fuck up our game. It's not real democracy. It's controlled parties.
Did you see that piece by Seymour Hersh that dropped over the weekend about the coup?
Yes. So explain to people what Seymour Hersh... I don't know if he's right. But it seems to be right a lot. And he was right about the Nord Stream pipeline, right?
What I was saying, and a lot of other people were saying, is... the big issue is, how do you get Biden out of the White House? So here's the Biden.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
In this case, he's like, look, I got Trump out of the White House last time. I'm only behind 2 or 3 points in the polls. Kamala's polling worse than me in like 8 out of 10 polls. I won these delegates. Why the hell should I back down? And that's a very solid case. Jill, for the first time in her life, people care about her. She matters. As Hunter put it, I have it exactly here. She's a selfish, silly, entitled cunt. That was how Hunter described her.
Whoa.
Yeah, we have the text. And then all the public pressure, Biden, you got to drop out, Biden got to drop out, Biden got to drop out. Nancy Pelosi's a gangster. I wouldn't want to fuck with her. I wouldn't want to fuck with Mitch McConnell. These people don't mess around. And everyone said, or a lot of people said, they're going to have to go to threats. Because why else would he step down? He's earned it, that presidency, and he's earned the nomination.
But if there was ever a time...
I think Joe Biden would be reasonable enough to notice not only is he losing all the support from his party, but also, like Michael Malice and Joe Rogan just said right there, these people don't mess around. You know, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, these people, they don't mess around. Like that's true. He would probably understand that. Jill Biden, I genuinely think she was the main reason why he stayed in the race as long as he did. And I think that's elder abuse. You know, that's really sad. She was abusing her elderly husband like that. But I think that's the reality. And I don't think she really understands the gravity of the situation as much as someone like Joe Biden, who has been in politics for a really long time, understands the gravity of the situation. These people are not good people. You know, like they just said, they don't mess around. If you don't play, if you get into office by playing ball with them, by saying that you're going to go by their rules, and then you get in office as they help you, like I said, they made the calls to make everybody else drop out because they're like, all right, Joe Biden's our guy. He's our puppet. Let's get him in there. Then they get you in there and you don't play ball. You don't play by their rules. Bad things could happen. You know, we've seen it before. we've seen that before where they do bad things to presidents. I mean, we just saw it a few weeks ago. They tried to shoot one. So it is dangerous. And I don't think Jill Biden understood like the gravity of how dangerous it actually is to not obey. And eventually, like, she just lost out and they just forced him to drop out, I think. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Jill Biden was really the one calling the shots? Because I truly do.
To invoke the 25th Amendment. Wouldn't you think this is the time?
Sure, but I don't think then hold on. Here's the thing. Let's talk about this. So Seymour Hersh, who's been around DC since the 60s, I believe he wrote The Dark Side of Camelot, if I'm not mistaken. He had a thing on his Substack that goes, Biden got the call, and it was Obama, Pelosi, former Speaker of the House, Chuck Schumer, Majority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, current House Minority Leader of the Democrats in the House, and they said, we got Kamala on board to invoke the 25th. If you don't drop the nomination, you know that's what's going to happen. The thing is, you were saying they're not invoking the 25th. He's still president.
Right, but I'm saying if there was a time that they were going to do that, this would be that time.
It was that time for.
I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. I wouldn't be shocked if you know, the Obama and Chuck Schumer and all these guys called Joe Biden and was like, hey, we got Kamala on board to invoke the 25th. But Joe Biden has come out multiple times. I mean, I guess they could still threaten him with that as well. But he has come out multiple times and endorsed Kamala Harris and said that she's like a good friend of their family. They eat dinner at each other's houses and stuff like that. I don't know if he would do that. If he was the one, if Biden was the one that was trying to refuse to get out of the White House, if Kamala Harris really was in on the threats to invoke the 25th. But maybe, I mean, maybe they're threatening him even further with, you know, if you don't endorse Kamala Harris, then we're going to, you know, do X, Y, Z. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments though what you think about what Joe Rogan had to say about this next election. Like I said, Joe Rogan thinks there's a possibility Kamala Harris could win. I don't think he wants her to win. I think he understands that it would be a disaster. Joe Rogan and Michael Malice understand that. But also at the same time, I think Joe Rogan's just trying to wake people up to the fact that it is a possibility and that, you know, we need to take this threat seriously and you know, not take it lightly. You know, this next election is very important for the future of the country and the world. Let me know in the comments what you think about this clip here from the Joe Rogan Experience.